active network, and really to get the money, he was running around like a madman, going to conferences, adding ties to his network, dropping ties, and he really complained to us, how can I network smarter? Because it takes so much time that I hardly have time to run my own company. So a large network is important, and when you're young, as a student, you lack a large network. So maybe Facebook and the social media play a role in the idea to increase your network size. Because a larger network, you have more potential to have ties to people with ideas, with money, with potential employees for your company. But then you have the problem of this network overload that can become too big. Also, what I noticed, people, when you follow your intuition, most people get together with similar people. So you can have a large network, but when everybody knows each other, there is not much new knowledge coming in. So besides having a large network, I'll come to that in a minute, you need a diverse network, because you need to have ties to people, not from your own background, but people from other backgrounds, from other professions, because it's not only clients, it's also capital and other suppliers you need. Going to this diversity, again, you have the problem, where do you get the time? So you need first a large network, second a diverse network, and here comes one of the major breakthroughs in social capital or in network research. That's the idea that you need structural holes. And a structural hole is, look at your own network ties, and do the people you know, do they know each other? When they know each other, you don't have structural holes. And Mr. Bird, a professor in Chicago, found the interesting idea first in a large company, that managers with more structural holes made a much faster career. Because the more structural holes, the more knowledge or new information you were getting. Because there was less overlap in the ties you had. And it's applied in general for all in this larger company, this research. Except for some people, for whom in the large, big multinational United States, on average, people with more structural holes, so people in the network who don't know each other, for whom didn't work, it hurt their career. Who has an idea? We talked about doelgroepen, or which groups actually had a disadvantage in having structural holes. Women and newcomers in this company. So structural holes are good on average for males, not for women and newcomers. The explanation was that having structural holes put you in a dangerous position, in a position rich in conflict. Because when you try to bridge the knowledge between two groups which don't know each other, for example, between marketing people and between R&D people, maybe they don't like your role as a broker. And the advice for women and newcomers in this large company was first to understand the rules and the games of this company, to become somewhat part of the old boys network. Because when you are part of the old boys network, or when you know the rules and the norms in this company, you can avoid that conflict. And when you are able to avoid conflict, being in a position rich in structural holes, you really benefit. And we talked about ethnic entrepreneurs. Here exactly the same applies for the second generation ethnic entrepreneurs. They have more structural holes than all Dutch people, original Dutch people, because they have ties with an ethnic background and ties to the Dutch people they met at school, at university. But when they don't have the skill to broker between these ties, they are in a disadvantage. But when they have the skill to exploit it, you see some very fast rising interest in ethnic startups. Because they are able to broker the knowledge. For example, a travel agent to Morocco, they know from the ethnic background exactly where to go, and they're well embedded in the Netherlands and finance and other things, and that is a startup only ethnic entrepreneurs can do. And they exploited the structural holes. So, when you have the choice of meeting somebody new, and he already is partly connected to some of the people you already know, you don't get much new information. And here I have a choice. So there's a entrepreneur, and he has connections to 1, 2, and 3. There is one structural hole in his network because 2 and 3 don't know each other. So he can add 1, invest time in meeting one other person. He can go to 4, down there. That person has added structural holes because they're not connected to the people he already knows. 5, he can go that new type, but 5 is already connected to people he knows. And then there is 6. So adding 5 doesn't add much. It's better to add 4. Maybe, but it may be even more better to add 6, because here we have the small world effect, that you don't only add people, it's more diverse and it's more structural holes, but also the network behind 6 is bigger. So you should find people who can be a broker to a new knowledge domain, to other people you don't know. And that is sometimes tricky to find out which people have this broker role, that they actually have a bigger network behind them.